What in the rap soap opera universe is going on here? Big Meech, yes, the living, breathing legend of BMF fame, is reportedly furious at none other than 50 Cent. All because of a $120 million Rick Ross scam scandal that just got dragged into the light. And let me tell you, this isn't just drama. This is the type of chaos that makes the Kardashians look like background extras in a church choir. Picture it? 50 Cent, the troll overlord himself, laughing like he just hacked the Wi-Fi password. At your grandma's house, cloning Meech for allegedly being caught in the smoke of a $120 million rosé disaster. Meanwhile, Big Meech, cool, calm, calculated, snaps. And we're not talking about a little shade here. We're talking nuclear button. Energy, the type of anger that shakes the culture and leaves everybody scrambling for cover. And Rick Ross? Rosé is out here strutting around like he's still the biggest boss. Lemon pepper wing in hand while the internet is tearing itself apart. Twitter threads, TikTok skits, meme factories going 24/7. This scandal has turned hip-hop into a Netflix original you can't pause. Buckle up, because what we're about to break down isn't just gossip. This is legacy versus trolling versus scandal, a holy trinity of chaos. Alright, let's rewind the chaos like a bootleg VHS tape. From the corner store. Because before we dive into Meech's rage, 50's trolling, and Rosie's finger-licking flexes, you need to understand how this scandal got so big it makes the Titanic look like a canoe accident. We're talking about a headline that reads like, something written by a sleep-deprived tabloid intern on energy drinks, $120 million Rick Ross scam exposed. $120 million. That's not money, that's a Marvel movie budget. That's the GDP of a small island nation. That's the amount your broke cousin swears he's about to flip on crypto. But then his Wi-Fi cuts out, and in the center of this whirlwind? Rick Ross, Mr. Lemon Pepper himself. Rosé has always lived in the fine line between rap royalty and internet punchline. Remember when he got exposed for being a corrections officer? He didn't just survive that, he thrived, turning the biggest boss persona into a meme-proof empire. But this? A $120 million scandal tied to shady deals, whispered scams, and missing bags of money bigger than most rappers' entire careers? Even Rosé couldn't just wing his way out of this one. Now here's where it gets cinematic. Big Meech's name got dragged into the mess. And let's pause here, because Meech isn't your average rap beef character. No, this is Big Meech, co-founder of the Black Mafia family. His name carries more weight than a Costco shopping cart filled with gold bricks. Rappers have spent decades building their entire brand off shouting out Meech. To mention him in the same breath as scam and $120 million is like calling Michael Jordan a benchwarmer. It doesn't sit right. So when whispers started spreading that Meech's legacy was being tied to this Rick Ross fiasco, fans gasped, bloggers salivated, and 50 Cent. Oh, 50 sharpened his trolling knives. Let's talk about 50 for a second. The man isn't just a rapper. He's the undisputed heavyweight champion of petty. He doesn't clap back, he writes comedy specials disguised as Instagram captions. He doesn't argue, he turns your downfall into a meme, merch, and possibly a star spinoff. For 50, beef isn't business. Beef is religion. So the second he caught wind of Ross's alleged scam and Meech's name floating in the scandal clouds, he did what 50 does best. He laughed. He laughed so hard you could probably hear it echo across every borough of New York. He laughed like your uncle who just found out he doesn't have to pay the dinner bill. And of course, he didn't just laugh privately. He went public. He roasted Meech on socials, clowning the idea of $120 million evaporating faster than Ja Rule's relevance. He dropped shade so thick you could have bottled it and sold it as sunscreen. Here's the kicker. People ate it up. Fans were divided instantly. Half of them were laughing right along with 50. Posting memes of Meech looking confused, Ross bathing in dollar bills, and captions like, BMF now stands for broke money fumble. Savage. The other half? Furious, defending Meech's name like it was a holy scripture, spamming comment sections with respect the legend and don't play with Meech. Meanwhile, Ross acted like none of this touched him. He was online showing off his cars, his pool parties, his Wingstop franchises, flexing like a man who didn't just have his name tied to a $120 million scandal. To Ross, it was Tuesday. To the rest of the culture, it was DEFCON 1, and that's when Meech snapped out. Sources say Meech felt the heat, not just from the scandal itself, but from 50 turning his name into a public joke. For a man who built an empire on respect, loyalty, and legendary status, being turned into meme fodder was the ultimate insult. Reports whispered about Meech calling out 50 directly, saying the trolling crossed the line. This wasn't just banter. This wasn't just rap beef. This was legacy warfare. Think about it. Meech has spent years watching rappers glorify his name, watching BMF become a pop culture staple, even watching 50 turn his story into a Star series. And now? That same 50 is laughing at him, dragging his name into a scandal circus, and treating him like just another target in the Troll Hall of Fame. The irony is brutal. It's like painting the Mona Lisa and then drawing a mustache on it. Yourself, the first reactions online were explosive. Twitter threads stretched longer than Drake's guest verses. Some fans mocked Meech, saying, "You let Rose run off with $120 million and still let 50 clown you?" Others swore this was the beginning of a new hip-hop Cold War. Even academics jumped in, no joke. There were think pieces about how this scandal reflected the commodification of Black legends in the digital age. Leave it to Twitter to turn a rap beef into a sociology lecture. But the streets? Oh, the streets were talking heavy. Alleged audio clips started popping up. Fake screenshots of text messages circulated. Some claimed Meech had words for 50 that couldn't be repeated without "allow your present." Others said Ross was laughing behind the scenes, calling himself the $120 million boss. Whether any of it was real didn't matter. The internet runs on chaos, not facts. And here's the secret sauce. The mess was only just beginning. Because once you ignite a scandal this big, it doesn't just burn out, it spreads, it mutates. It drags in new players. It turns rap beef into a cultural Super Bowl where every meme, every post, every reaction feels like a touchdown. And as Meech's fury boiled, 50's trolling escalated, and Rose kept flexing, the culture realized something terrifying. This wasn't just about money. This was about image, respect, and power. And those three things? They're worth way more than $120 million. If the $120 million Rick Ross scandal was a spark in part 1, what happened next was a gasoline truck rolling downhill with no brakes. The internet didn't just react, it combusted. Suddenly, what started? As 50 Cent trolling Big Meech became the hip-hop Hunger Games, with fans, celebrities, and meme lords all fighting for petty supremacy. The first battlefield? Twitter. Hashtags like hashtag Meech vs 50, hashtag 12OMBOS, and hashtag scam like ROZAY lit up trending charts. People weren't just joking, they were auditioning for roast battles. One viral post read, "Big Meech mad at 50 over $120 million? That's like Drake beefing with a Starbucks barista because they spelled his name dork. Another hit harder, Rick Ross didn't scam. $120, he just opened a Wingstop on the moon. The savagery was endless. Then came the celebrity cameos. Lil Boosie screamed into Instagram Live like he was calling 911, saying Meech deserved respect, then immediately plugged his upcoming movie. Classic. Whack 100 claimed he had secret recordings of Meech cussing out 50, though he never played them because, of course. And Celia Boy? He hijacked the narrative, yelling, "I had the first $120 million scam. Rick Ross copied me." Nobody asked, but Celia never needs an invitation to chaos. Meanwhile, the meme factory was working overtime. One Photoshop showed Ross sitting on a mountain of lemon pepper wings with the caption, "Here's the $120 million. Another put 50 Cent's face on Judge Judy, laughing while Meech stood at the defendant's table. Somebody even made a fake Netflix cover. Scamfluencer. The $120 million Rick Ross story. Executive producer. 50 Cent. The creativity? Ruthless. 50 wasn't just laughing anymore, he was conducting a symphony of slander. Champagne in hand, posting clips, dropping captions like, "At least Yo Rule gave y'all tents and cheese sandwiches." Fans tagged Meech nonstop. "Yo, you gonna let him talk to you like that?" Each post was gasoline, and 50 poured it with both hands, but Meech's defenders weren't silent. Hardcore BMF loyalists swarmed comment sections, dropping respect. The legend like it was scripture. Some even swore they boycott 50 shows, accusing him of biting the very story, BMF, that made him millions. For the first time, the Troll King crown looked a little shaky. Could 50 go too far? The debate raged like wildfire. Then came TikTok. The scandal went global once teenagers turned it into skits. One viral clip showed a fake rosé throwing Monopoly money around while another guy dressed as 50 laughed in the background. The audio, $120 million gone, blew up. Suddenly, Meech's fury was being reenacted by kids who couldn't even spell BMF when TikTok sinks its teeth into your scandal. That's immortality. Mortality. And Rosé? Rosé stayed Rosé. He doubled down on boss energy, flexing in luxury cars, eating wings poolside, posting captions like, "Bosses don't count losses." To fans, it looked like he was trolling the scandal itself. To haters, it was proof he was guilty. Either way, Rosé wasn't sweating. If anything, he was savoring the free PR. The comparisons got wilder by the day. Commentators called this Fire Festival 2.0, but with rappers instead of tents. Others said, it was Empire meets Shark Tank meets Jerry Springer. One meme nailed it. 50 is Iron Man laughing, Meech is Captain America furious, and Ross as Thanos snapping $120 million out of existence. The Avengers analogy stuck because this wasn't just beef, it was a cultural blockbuster. And then came the conspiracy theories. Twitter threads claimed 50 planted the entire story to humiliate Meech. Reddit detectives swore Ross had funneled the money into experimental Wingstop crypto. Some even alleged Meech never snapped at all, that it was all orchestrated hype to set up, wait for it, another 50 Cent TV series. In the internet's court, logic doesn't matter, only chaos counts. But here's the truth. Meech was furious. Reports kept leaking from close associates, from alleged calls, from blogs foaming at the mouth. He was tired of being a punchline. Tired of his name dragged through wing sauce and scam jokes. For a man whose brand was built on respect, the humiliation cut deep. The streets picked it up fast. Barbershops, clubs, corner stores, everyone had a take. Was Meech the victim of a smear campaign? Was 50 just being 50? Was Ross a criminal genius or just a meme king with an appetite? Nobody had answers, but everyone had opinions. By this point, the scandal had mutated into something bigger than rap beef. It was an event, a cultural wildfire. Bloggers lived off it, podcasters debated it, TikTok danced to it. The lines between music, money, and meme blurred until the only truth left was this. Big Meech was furious. 50 Cent was laughing, and Ross was eating wings, and just when fans thought it couldn't get wilder, the question shifted. What happens when the smoke clears? Who survives the fallout, the legend, the Troll King, or the boss? The answer was about to shake the culture. When the smoke started to clear, one thing was obvious. This wasn't just another rap beef. This was a cultural earthquake. The $120 million Rick Ross scandal had ripped through the internet, scorched reputations, and left fans debating like it was the final season of Game of Thrones. Except this time, the dragons were lemon pepper wings, and the Iron Throne was a chair made of memes. The first big casualty? Big Meech's image. For years, Meech was untouchable. He wasn't just a man, he was mythology. His name was inked into rap verses, whispered in clubs, and immortalized in documentaries. But this scandal turned that aura into a question mark. Blogs turned out headlines like, Meech caught in $120 million mess, and BMF legend loses cool over 50's jokes. Suddenly, his name wasn't just tied to respect. It was tied to scams, trolling, and humiliation. And for a man whose empire was built on image, that's deadly. But the aftermath wasn't all bad for Meech. His fury, his snapping, reminded fans he was still human, still fiery, still willing to clap back when disrespected. Some even argued that his anger added to the legend. After all, what's scarier? A silent king or a king who roars when you push him too far? Then there was 50 Cent. Normally, scandals like this leave 50 untouched. He trolls, he wins, he moves on. But this time, the backlash stuck. Some fans thought he crossed a sacred line by mocking Meech, the very man whose story had helped power one of 50's biggest hits, the BMF TV series. Critics said 50 bit the hand that fed him, flipping Meech from legend to punchline. For the first time, whispers surfaced. Maybe 50 wasn't just funny, maybe he was addicted to humiliation. Still, let's be real, 50 doesn't lose sleep over criticism. If anything, he thrives on it. But the wobble in his troll crown? You could feel it in Rosé. Somehow, the scandal's supposed villain came out looking unbothered, maybe even stronger. Instead of collapsing under accusations, Ross doubled down on his biggest boss persona. He ignored the hate flexed harder and turned the $120 million whispers into free marketing. Fans joked, only Rick Ross could turn a scam scandal into a Wingstop commercial, and they weren't wrong. Rosé walked away not just intact, but amplified. In the rap game, sometimes survival is the win, but the fallout didn't stop with them. This scandal spilled into the culture at large. Rappers who once shouted out Meech suddenly went quiet. Influencers clung to 50's every post, trying to ride the wave, and bloggers, they ate good. Every tiny rumor, every fake screenshot, every exclusive leak was a goldmine. For weeks, you couldn't scroll without bumping into some new twist in the saga. The fans, though, they were the real wild card. They turned this into tribal warfare. Team Meech versus Team 50 versus Team Rosé. Comment sections turned into digital battlegrounds. One side screamed that Meech was being unfairly clowned. Another laughed with 50 like it was the best comedy special of 2025. And the Rosé crew? They just spammed lemon pepper emojis like soldiers on the front line. Even mainstream media couldn't resist. Late-night hosts cracked jokes. Sports commentators made sly references. One announcer even said mid-game, "That's a $120 million turnover, Big Meech numbers." The scandal wasn't just hip-hop anymore. It was mainstream pop culture, and then came the lingering consequences. Meech's legacy, while dented, wasn't destroyed, but now it carried baggage. 50's crown as King of Petty was intact, but for the first time, people questioned if the crown was getting too heavy. And Ross? He looked untouchable. The man in the middle of a supposed $120 million mess somehow strutted away like he just won a Grammy for most unbothered. But here's the truth. Scandals like this don't die. They hibernate. Every time Meech's name comes up, people will remember the memes. Every time 50 laughs at someone else, fans will whisper, "Remember when he roasted Meech?" And every time Rosé eats wings on camera, someone will mutter, "That's where the $120 million went." These aren't just jokes. They're scars, permanent cultural scars. So what happens next? That's the cliffhanger. Will Meech rebuild his aura, turning fury into fuel? Will 50 spin this into another Stars hit, cashing in on the very drama he created? Will Ross drop a track bragging about being the $120 million boss? Nothing is certain except one thing: hip-hop never forgets. And the internet never forgives. And that's why this story hits so hard. Because it's not just about missing money. It's about respect, ego, and the way legends can be rewritten. In real time, not by historians, but by memes. 1 minute you're untouchable, the next you're trending for all the wrong reasons. This scandal wasn't just a beef. It was a mirror. A reminder that in the age of social media, nobody is safe. Not even Big Meech. And there you have it. The $120 million meltdown that turned hip-hop into a telenovela on steroids. Big Meech snapping, 50 Cent laughing like a man who just found a coupon for free champagne, and Rick Ross strolling away with lemon pepper sauce on his fingers like nothing ever happened. This wasn't just drama. This was cultural demolition. The kind of scandal that makes reality TV producers sit in a corner and cry. But here's the thing. This story doesn't end here. Oh no, every time Meech's name pops up, someone's gonna whisper $120 million. Every time 50 posts a meme, people will remember this roast. And Rosé? He'll still be flexing like the money disappeared into his swimming pool. The ripple effects of this saga will live on long after the hashtag stop trending. Now it's your turn. Whose side are you on in this lemon pepper warzone? Are you backing Big Meech, defending the BMF legacy like it's sacred scripture? You laughing along with 50, the undisputed troll king who turns beef into comedy gold? Or are you rocking with Rosé, the man who somehow turned a $120 million scandal into a marketing campaign? Drop your wildest takes in the comments, don't hold back. Because this is where the internet really explodes. And while you're down there, smash that like button like it owes you rent, subscribe like you're signing a record deal, and ring that bell so hard your neighbors call security. Because here at Trend Tattle, we don't just cover scandals, we serve them hotter than a fresh plate of wings straight out the fryer. Stay tuned, because if you think this was wild, just wait. The next scandal? It's already brewing. This isn't gossip. This is Trend Tattle, and we just exposed it all.